for watching Numbskull News, and today we are talking about this Pac-12 phantom deal that we keep hearing about. It's been 6 months, it's been 6 months. So where's the deal? Well, according to Commissioner Klyakov, or whatever his name is, according to him, we had to wait for Dion, of course, to sign with Colorado. Well, first they had to turn down the merger with the Big 12, then, get Dion, and now, we're waiting for whatever. Right? We're waiting for March. March is a good month to do a TV deal. In case you haven't noticed, Mr. Klyakov is a lying bullshit artist, and he's been that the entire time. And it is now proven, we got receipts. We can see it. He completely lied about the merger thing, saying, oh, we're the ones that backed out. No. We know that's a lie. And you can sniff all the bullshit. I mean, you can just smell it. It reeks of it when he talks about, well, we can't do a TV deal before Dion comes to town. Bullshit. Straight bullshit. So basically, you can pretty much take everything he says and wipe your ass with it. That's what it's worth. So you gotta think, what the hell is holding up the damn TV deal? I mean, it took what? The Big 12 all of what? A month? A freaking month? Less than a month to get their TV deal done, and you can't get one done. There's been a lot of speculation as to why. I can give you 3 reasons why it hadn't gotten done. Oregon, Washington, and Stanford. That's why. All right. It was reported last summer that they wanted an uneven revenue split. Because, look, they don't want to go to the Big 12. They'd rather stay in some kind of formation of the Pac-12 and rule over it, right? Be the lords of the Pac-12 until they can get into the Big 10. That's if they ever get into the Big 10. And I believe what's taking forever with this TV deal is they cannot agree on any kind of grant of rights. Now, I do believe that those 3 teams will sign a grant of rights when they get exactly what they want. And by the way, you can go ahead and throw Cal in there too, because they're going bankrupt. They have to be subsidized by UCLA and Big 10 money, because it's apparently as intelligent and smart and as great a school as Cal is, they can't seem to grasp a checkbook. They don't know how to handle money, and they're in tons of debt. They're screwed, so they can't take any kind of pay cut. They got to have more money. We're talking about those 4 schools, Oregon, Washington, Stanford, and Cal. They don't really give a shit about the other 6 schools in the conference. They don't, because those 4 schools, all right, they are in the prime real estate that any TV network wants to be in. And if you're Amazon, that's exactly where you want to be. Bay Area, Northern California, Seattle, Washington, beautiful. That's where they live. That's what they want. And I know that sounds hurtful for the other 6, Colorado and Arizona, Arizona State, Utah, Oregon State, and Washington State. But I have a feeling when it comes to TV people, it's really about those 4 schools, and then surround them with some other schools so they can get some inventory. That can't just be anybody. I understand it can't just be anybody. But I think there's something else in the back of their head, because the way I feel about what the Big 12 want to do, I think they want 4 schools from the Pac-12. They're not going to take 6. All right. If they were willing to do all of that, they may have entertained a merger more than they did. But they don't want all those schools. I think at most they'll take 4, get to 16 teams, just like the Big 10 and the SEC, and then they'll kind of wait and see what happens with the ACC later. Maybe get up to 21 day, maybe not. Maybe just stay at 16 forever. I don't know. But I don't think they have any inclination to go past 16 teams, adding 4 from the Pac-12 right now. And I do believe that that's probably the thinking of Oregon and Washington, Stanford, and Cal. They got plenty of smart people that can really kind of look at the lay of the land and figure out, okay, what is the Big 12 likely to do? The four big dogs, I'll call them, the four big dogs in the Pac-12, I believe they're willing to sacrifice some teams to the Big 12 so they can get the money that they want and then move forward. Which means, you know, if they take the four corners, if the Big 12 take the four corner schools, then Oregon State and Washington State will be forced to stay in the Pac-12 and have to take less money. And what do I mean by less money? Probably somewhere in the neighborhood of $22 million a year. Somewhere in that neighborhood, which is less than what they're making right now. And the reason that'll happen, because the new deal will come in, and Oregon and Washington, well, they're not going to make $30 million. All right, they want to get north of that. Maybe $35, $36 million a year. Stanford and Cal will probably be happy to take 30 to 31, somewhere in that neighborhood. And everybody else is going to have to deal with, you know, whatever it is, 20 million a year, 22 million a year, something like that. How it's going to break down, because the Big 12, the absolute locks for the Big 12. All right, in this scenario, in any scenario, the Big 12 wants Colorado and they want Arizona. All right, those are the two main ones they want. And I do believe Oregon, Washington, Stanford, and Cal is more than happy to sacrifice those two schools, all right, to get what they want. Which means the other two, whether it's Utah and Arizona State or Oregon State and Washington State, one of those two is going to get to go to the Big 12 and make a legit living, and the other two are going to have to take a haircut and go back to the Pac-12. And that's going to be at the discretion of the Big 12 and what's good for their TV deal, what's good for ESPN, what's good for their partners, and what's good for our conference. And however, you know, your Mark and company and the rest of the presidents and ADs all around the damn conference, however they see it, is how it's going to work out. The four big dogs, Oregon, Washington, Stanford, and Cal, you know, sacrifice four schools to the Big 12. You know, I just don't think they care. I think they look at it and say, okay, well, you know, we can snatch up San Diego State, SMU, you know, UNLV, because they're in the Vegas market. That's a good market to be in. Yeah, they suck, but does it really matter? You know, Colorado sucks. You know, Arizona State sucks. You know, who gives a shit? It's about the market. That's a great market. After that, you know, is it Fresno State? I mean, it's another California school, you know, that may work. Maybe Boise State. They seem to be ready to get, you know, go into the big time. It's Idaho. It's not sexy, but it is a growing market. One of the fastest growing markets in the country. So that may have some appeal to it. I know what you're saying. Do you really want to, you know, you want to lose Colorado? You want to lose, you know, the Denver market? You know, it's a big market. It is. But it's not the most important one. Sorry. You know, the four big dogs, that's the markets they want to be in. That's what Amazon would want. Now, would they want to keep Colorado? They probably would, but you got to understand those four schools want to get paid, and the only way they get paid is for everyone else to make less. So you sacrifice that. SMU, Dallas-Fort Worth market, and like I said, you got the Vegas market, San Diego, Southern California market. You bring those guys in, and I don't think Amazon really blinks. I don't think they really care. I think they say, okay, you know, we're going to lose those. We'll bring the other four in, but at least we have Northern California, Bay Area, San Francisco, damn it, Seattle, Portland, Eugene, you get all that. The four schools that you bring in, what are they going to make? 15 a year? 16 a year? Something like that. And by the way, that's a pretty sizable raise for those schools, so they'll be happy to have it. At least they get to be in a perceived Power 5, and I say perceived because I don't know what kind of power that damn conference is going to be when no one can watch it, and some of their prime schools are gone, replaced by a group of 5. So and with an uneven revenue split, it's not exactly like those schools can really catch Oregon or catch Washington. It's going to be really difficult with that much less money than the top dogs get. I've made a couple of videos about the death of the Pac-12, and you know, what does that look like? Well, that's a good starting point. Because, the Pac-12 may not just dissolve and go away. Now, I mean, if Oregon and Washington, you know, get their wish and go with the Big Ten one day, then it probably will. But I don't know. I'm no longer sold that that's absolutely going to happen. It may not. They may decide, you know what, we got this little fiefdom here that we're in charge of. We'll just keep with this. We'll make our money and we'll bring in stragglers and we'll pay them a little bit. And, but we're still going to be the ones that prop up everything. I think that's what they'd rather have than join something like a Big 12 and be equal to everybody, because they don't see themselves as equal to everybody. They see themselves far better than that, elite, and they're not. And I understand that's some major speculation, but it's fun to do. Who cares? Let's, speculate a little bit, but you got to put your thinking cap on and, use some basic logic, and that's logical to me. It kind of makes sense to me because it doesn't take that long to get a damn TV deal done. I'm sorry, it doesn't. Maybe it does if you're the Big Ten and you got, CBS and NBC and ESPN and Fox, and everyone's like just, it's a big auction and everyone's trying to get in. Not to mention ESPN Plus and Peacock and all this other shit. So that might take a while to figure out. And you're talking about enormous freaking numbers. You're talking about, what, $1 billion a year. That's a little bit more complicated than what the Pac-12 is doing. And it's more complicated than what the Big 12 had to do. That's why it took them, 3 weeks, 3.5 weeks, something like that. That's the only thing that makes sense to me, is the holdup is those 4 teams are holding the works up, trying to get the max amount of money and not really giving a shit about the other 6 teams in the conference. And whoever gets stuck in the conference, hey, whatever. You'll make more than San Diego State. You'll make more than UNLV or SMU or Boise State or Fresno State or whoever we bring in. You'll make more than them, but you're going to make less than what you were making because, well, there's no other, kinder way to put it. Fuck you. We're better than you and we're worth more money. And that's how they look at it. And I think that's what they're going to do, and that's what they're going to get. And that's my spitballing. That's my speculation. That's what I think is going to happen. Anyway, that's all I got on that crap. I'll be back with some other crap later. Bye.